Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to talk about some of my favorite books that I read during this fall. And some of these books are kind of like just some of my own personal favorites. I mean, I don't have a lot of fall favorites, but these are some of the ones that I do have on my shelf. So, getting started, one of the books that I do think that's a good fall favorite, because like of Halloween and stuff, and I think like this is a book that pretty much a lot of people know about, but wanted to bring it out anyway, and that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I actually read it like a while ago, like last year, and I really enjoyed this book. It was like creepy, but also kind of like they had like its own sadness also. And I mean, of course, you know what Frankenstein's about. So, you know, about Frankenstein, the doctor, scientist who creates like a human being, the monster, and things go crazy. And it's a really good book, so I do recommend this one if you haven't read it yet. And they also have a lot of movies, but I would suggest reading this book because it was way different than what I thought it would, the story thought it would be. Because sometimes the movies tend to depict Frankenstein and the whole situation, whole story like totally differently, but when I read the book, it was way different. So, but at the same time, if you're interested in something for Halloween, this is a good book. So, and it's also great for people who aren't really into horror books, don't want anything scary. This one is kind of like not really scary or anything, so it's really good. Another book that I have that is a really good book for the fall because it's dark. If you want something dark and fantasy type of thing, but not too fantasy-ish, but something like kind of like dark and stuff, is Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, and this is like one of my all-time favorite books. And it's about this guy named Richard who lives in London, who one day he's like walking down the street and sees this girl who's like wounded, she's bleeding and stuff, like to the point that she like could be dying and all that stuff. I think she'd been shot and I don't know what. And so Richard decides to help her, take her back to his apartment and take care of her and stuff. You want to call the cops because this kind of thing's not so good. And then after that, he eventually she's okay. But then he goes back to work, and it turns out that he's invisible. And then he comes back, door's done, the girl's gone, and then two guys. It turns out that are looking for her, and they're like, "Hey, if you don't find her, we're gonna come back for you." And so he's like, "What is going on? Why am I invisible? Why is these two guys after me?" And so he has to go find the girl, but then turns out that by finding her, he ends up in some alternate dimension, some other whole world realm within the world of London, like below the streets and tunnels and drains everywhere. And it's like some big, huge adventure. So if you like something like Alice in Wonderland ish, something that you go down the rabbit hole type of thing, and then you just like see a lot of adventure and stuff, that's kind of the book that I recommend. So this is a good book to check out. So I actually have, I think I have a review on my blog in case you even want to get into more in detail. So, and I will have links below for all the books. So in case you decide that you are interested in them, totally recommend checking them out and using the links too. But yeah. So the next book I got is if you like vampires, I recommend Glass House. And this is the first book in the Morganville Vampire series by Rachel Kane. And this is a book I think is kind of like really underhyped. And I don't see a lot of people talking about the series at all. So, but no, I'm talking about it because Rachel Kane is one of my favorite authors, and this is one of my favorite all-time favorite series that I love. I'm not even finished, but I'm enjoying it. It's about this girl. She's 16, and she pretty much is going to college. And her parents are like, we don't want you to go far away. We don't want you to go to Columbia. We don't want to go to Harvard, whatever it is, because it's so far away. So we want you to be close to home in a quiet, safe neighborhood. So they sent her to this college in Morganville, which is like a small town in Texas. And it's like right close to where she used to live. So it's pretty much like close by. And her parents think it's like, oh, it's a pretty nice school. So the next thing you know, that the main character Claire, she ends up going to school, and it's not a nice town. It's not a nice town. She has to deal with mean girls, but worst of all, after she has to even get to the point where she has to move out, and she lives with these three roommates. But then soon she finds out that Morganville's not really a quiet, peaceful town. It's a town run by vampires. And so throughout the series, her and her roommates must do whatever they can do is to survive vampires and mean girls and pretty much creeps that happen to be around the city. It's just crazy series, but it's just like so much fun because there's so much action in this. There's so much vampires, and if you're tired of like vampires, like same old Twilight kind of thing, and you want something more of like evil vampire type of thing that are actually scary, I guess. This is like the one. So, and so far there is no love triangle. So for anyone who's tired of love triangles, I haven't encountered one yet. So that's a good series to check out. Lastly, I have the last book. It's one of my all-time favorite series ever since high school. I picked it up once, and then I just read them in a week or so. They're actually short books, so most of the series is very short, so you can bust through it in a year, I guess, or less. So this Book of Shadows, and this is the first book in the Sleep series by Katie Terman. And if you haven't read this series by now, I mean it's been around forever, but it's just one of my favorites. And it's about this girl who goes to school. She's kind of like plain, like wearing t-shirts and jeans type of girl with her best friend who's like popular. She's like the beautiful girl, I guess, the beautiful one. And then suddenly this new guy shows up named Cal, who's like hot and decides like, hey, would you like to join my circle meeting? And so these two girls and also other high school friends decide to join his circle group, and it turns out that Morgan, the main character, finds out that there is something special about her. She is a witch. And so throughout the series, she learns about how to use her powers, who she is, and it turns out that she's not really, her regular parents are not really her parents. But anyway, she turns out to find out, learn more about that, and there's like a lot of dangers. There's a lot of evil witches out there that just wants to use her for her powers because it's crazy, and she has to also deal with like crazy friends and so on. So it's just like really fun. If you like witches, this is a good story for you. So these are some of the books that I talked about, which are really good books to check out if you're looking for something fallish, mixture of supernatural, some horror, and some dark fantasy and stuff. I will have some more books in case you want some more fall favorites. I can go search the earth through it. But anyway, these are some of the books that I like. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. And if you have any more fall favorites that you like to enjoy, I'd like to hear about them. So do like this video if you like it. And if you want to stick around for more books, book reviews, and book your stuff, do subscribe because I'd love to have you there. And until next time, keep on reading.